Big question I get all the time is, should I or shouldn't I do international shipping? So I'm going to break it down, and we're going to look at my personal settings for international shipping and why I use them. Hey, it's Don. Today we're going to talk about international shipping. It's a question I get all of the time. I can tell you straight out, though, we use it. We use every option of international shipping pretty much that eBay offers. Depending on the category, I can get a 15-20% boost in sales by having that option on there. So for me, it's a no-brainer. I need to use it. Why would I give up that sort of sales? Now, I also get a lot of worries on risk factors involved with this. Now, we're going to show you my setups, what I do to avoid the risk of having issues with international shipping. I don't honestly have many issues, but the few that I have had, the options I'm going to show you, the methods I use, the shipping options as well, have been able to save me from having any real loss or any other issues using it. Okay, before we get started, in all honesty with international shipping in general, if I compare the risks of shipping international to the risks of shipping here in the U.S., I don't have any different rate. So if I ship 100 packages overseas versus 100 here, the amount of issues is about the same. I don't have any major con jobs coming from foreign purchases. In the past, I've had a couple from the same country. I've just not shipped there anymore. Or it goes through global shipping, so there can be no complaints on specifics. Other than that, I would honestly recommend shipping internationally as long as it's within the weight ranges and, it's not some $10,000 item where the risk of theft is higher. I don't ship major items. I ship about $1,000 items at best, usually overseas. And again, I'm very cautious with how I ship them. Now, there's a bunch of options on here. The gist is whether you want to take the chance or not, it's going to be all up to you. But again, in my opinion, selling internationally has been a big boost. In some cases, 10, 15, even 20% increase in sales in just some categories alone. So it's well worth it. So if you can boost your sales by 20% in some cases, again, my results may not be the same as yours. It depends on what you sell. If you're selling things that only an American or American market-wise there would be interest in, obviously they probably won't sell overseas. And as I said, the cost of some of this varies too. So if you can't ship it cheap enough, sometimes the cost will sink you shipping overseas. If the item's a good item, people are going to spend whatever it costs to get it. That's the only other consideration I would say. Now, when you talk about options, let's look at the options that you have to ship pretty much anything on eBay internationally. Now, there's a couple options that are all almost the same. eBay International Standard Delivery and First Class International Mail. I use both of those options. And what you'll find is eBay International Shipping, the standard version here, which you see, is cheaper than shipping first class. eBay has some sort of deal, and the whole works. Let's slide down here just to give you an idea. You can read through the particulars, but it's just giving you basics on why you should do it. Nothing spectacular here. This gives you the actual fees that you'll pay to ship these to specific countries and stuff. So you can easily compare this. Like Canada alone, it's usually like, $14.50 to say $16 to ship first class international. Via this option, eBay International Standard, you save a few bucks. Now, the biggest drawback on any of this with eBay International Standard is the insurance, your risk factor. Now, with First Class International, you can get insurance in some cases. Other cases, you can't. So if it's lost, you may or may not get your money back. There are options on eBay where you can purchase extra insurance, of course. But with all of the extra insurance options that are not through the governments, there is some fees associated. We had one return or one issue where we had to refund somebody because the package never got there. eBay insurance that I used, I wanted to see how it worked, and they kept about 15 to 20% of the funds for the item that I sold for processing and other fees. So you've got to read the disclaimer. With eBay International Standard Shipping, there's some limitations and fees with this option as well. So if you use this option and something goes askew, you could lose a few bucks in fees. Again, I think it was up to 20% or so in my case. I could be wrong by a percentage or two, but it was fairly high considering the actual item itself. For me, I almost never have an issue, whether it's U.S. shipping or overseas. So the amount of profit, the amount of difference I make by shipping international saves me money either way. I use this all the time as long as it's a service that's available to the country that I ship to. In some cases, the first-class international standard may be available, but eBay International Standard is not. So I have all options that eBay offers marked on all of my listings, or most all of my listings, depending on the weight of the item. So there's nothing wrong with this option, other than, again, if something does happen, you won't get all your money back. There are fees. You can read down through here. There's a bunch of disclaimers. There's a bunch of frequently asked questions, requirements, protection, and the whole works. Basically, I just explained the gist of what's going on with this process. And again, I do recommend it. Now, again, I have almost no returns on anything, or issues or cases or anything else like that. You do, as I said, have guarantee from eBay on this that covers, I think it's $100 of the cost. So again, you won't get that whole $100 back, though, because the fees and such associated with this. Again, nothing wrong with that. If I do 50 of these, I'm saving $2 or $3 a shot. So even if I lose $5 or $6 on an item, it doesn't matter if you lose on just one case or two or something. It's the overall aspect. Overall, using eBay International Standard Shipping option for me saves me money. I make more money if I save money. So this is my better option here. Now, another option is eBay's global shipping program. And yes, I do use it. It depends on the place I am shipping to. I feel better using this option to some countries where there's higher risk because, again, eBay covers the loss of the item. And I've had cases where eBay had to do that. If there's an issue and it does not get delivered through eBay Global Shipping or even eBay International Standard Shipping, eBay covers your loss up to a certain amount. So that's specifically why I use this. Now, eBay has a list of items that you can't ship through here or that they don't cover. And it also has a list of the countries going down through here. One thing I should tell you, even though you've got a list, say, up here, eBay has denied people that I personally know the ability to ship it in certain areas because they're claiming that the item would be destroyed during shipment, even though they allowed me to ship the exact same items, just not for as high a dollar. Now, this is my opinion, but it's based on factual information that has been provided to me by several people, not just one or two, but several. eBay has refused some items to be shipped and blocked them. They said they couldn't ship them that way because of the country of origin, that they would be destroyed or some crazy thing like that. Now, again, I'm thinking personally, by my opinion, that they restrict items based on their risk level, even if it's not on here. And again, they reserve the rights to say other things are blockable by them for whatever reason they want. Just keep that in mind. Some items that you will want to ship to may not even be on this list. There are some toys that you cannot ship, is what I've been led to believe by eBay, as well as some country issues. I had some toys returned from us, and we were told that these were toys shipped through eBay's global shipping, mind you, too, returned to us, and we were told that they can't be shipped to the country because of import-export laws. It was just a common toy. It wasn't anything special, but that is not the case as well, too. So you'll run into some issues here and there. It's not a huge ordeal. I didn't lose money on any of the dealings that went on with this. So anyway, global shipping, in my opinion, isn't a problem for our end. Now, you'll hear a lot of complaints on global shipping from the people buying it because of the cost. The cost, though, on these includes VAT and a bunch of other stuff, all the fees, and eBay processing it differently. They're shipping it over from Kentucky. And on the other side of the globe, they're handling the initial output to go to the country's specific post offices. So, anything like that, there could be issues. Again, read over it if you're curious. So these are your options here. Obviously, you could go ahead and do UPS International or FedEx or some of those things. I don't ever use FedEx unless there's no earthly other way to do it. FedEx has not been good around our area. Again, that's my opinion, my results, so you may have different results on that. Now, let's discuss how to set up some of this too, because that's always the next question that I get is how did I set up all this? How do I keep all this stuff straight here? Now, I do use eBay's business policies. Occasionally, if an item glitches out on a relist or in a sell similar, eBay creates new policies for you to figure out where to put the stuff. You'll see copies and all kinds of other things like that. Sometimes that happens when you're ending stuff or starting or ending a listing that's on sale and things like that, because it's locked into a sale at some point. Sometimes it won't allow you to change it. That's a glitch. Glitches happen all the time on eBay, as we know. This is all of my policies here. Anything that changes on any of the shipping options, like global shipping changes, international standard changes, I can just go in here and click a couple buttons and totally fix those in every single listing that I have. Some of these are so basic, like my return policy is the same for all of my items. My payment policy is like the same for all of my items. First class shipping is one of my common ones. That's a default because I ship a lot of first class items in this store specifically. Other stores that we run, I have different defaults set up. You set them up as you need them for whatever you're selling the most of. And then I break it down to some other categories here. I have a U.S. only items. Now, these are items that I cannot legally ship overseas. When I do get stuff like that occasionally, you just have to know how to handle it. You've got to understand the rules and the laws of what you can or can't ship overseas. You can check out the global shipping program or look at eBay International Standard and judge some of it from there. If you ship straight through the post office, there is a customs book you can actually get. You can get a free copy of it. Now, I have a physical version of that book because, again, it's something that I look at occasionally. You can look at it all online, too, so... But this is the page that you can change or do anything you want with shipping. Now let's look at how to set up shipping internationally to begin with. I would honestly recommend using a business policy if at all possible. If you don't have a store and it's not available, a basic store, and I don't usually promote eBay for a lot of things because I think a lot of it's just a ripoff or they're trying just to get our money. But a basic store, if it offers you stuff like this, will make your life easier because you can change all of your listings or groups of listings based on weights or shipping policies right off the bat. So again, when the post office changes rates and you got them one by one, you're going to have to go back in and figure them all out. If you do flat rate or free shipping, you might not want this. But again, for most people, there are opportunities to save things. Even if you do flat rate shipping, that is one of your policies you can set up. And then you can set up 100 different other policies. So you're not losing anything by using this option, using the business policies. Just set it up as flat rate or free as a policy. That's all you got to do. So there's no difference if you're doing it one by one or this way, except if you do a business policy, you can change them instantly for every listing that is set up the same way. It's a no-brainer. Use business policies. The amount of glitches I have is minimal, very small, honestly. A couple listings here, a couple listings there, and they're easy to fix. If eBay creates one or something crashes and they have to throw it into a blanket policy, you can just switch those. It will automatically give you an option where you can transfer those policies to one of the ones you already have. So there's no big deal dealing with business policies as long as you understand how they work. Now let's look at a few policies of mine right here and how I set things up for international and the whole works. Now I have over 25,000 listings that use this default one here. Now, all of my U.S. shipping is set up the same. 1 business day handling time, U.S. first class, 35 business days. If you did free shipping, you could do it there. Again, you can do it all any way you want. There's no big difference in setting it up this way or that, other than, again, the opportunity to change everything without doing a whole bunch of work. Now, international. This is how I set up my international. I do accept the global shipping program on even first-class items. I know it costs a lot of money for them to ship it this way, but if it's purchased from some country that I don't directly want to ship to, I let eBay deal with it, and I'm still able to sell to those countries without dealing with the high cost of a risk. Now, with all of my other items here, again, we're talking about 3-ounce items here, under 16 ounces basically. U.S. first class, mail, international. That's the option that I use. And with this option, I have selected all of these options right here. These are the countries that I ship to specifically. You can break down Europe and things like that too if you wish and see the exact specific countries. But overall, this is where I don't have any issues and this is where I ship to. All those blue little checks are places I ship directly to at this point without much issue whatsoever. I didn't used to ship directly to China, but lately I've had a lot of purchases and very little problems or issues with them at all. So for me, it's opened up a bunch more sales and no real trouble or aspect with that too. And as well, I can honestly use eBay International Standard when the payment is made this way too. So it's still going to be basically the exact same thing. Now, I'll address returns on items in just a minute here at the end. With U.S. items, I do free returns. So if somebody wants to return something, any item whatsoever that I sold to them, they can return it to me free of charge for 30 days. I don't have hardly any returns ever, so for me, it's been no big deal. I've done it this way for years, and I've never had an issue with it. Now, with international shipping, I do not pay for return shipping. The buyer pays for return shipping on all international items. So that way, if you're worried about all being skunked and having to pay for return shipping, you don't have to. You can just set it up that way. It will not kill your top-rated plus status or that discount. Again, we're top-rated plus, we get a discount, so I don't kill it by doing it this way. It's a minority of my sales as well, too. Vast majority of most anybody's sales, even if you do ship internationally, are going to still be U.S. 15-20% increase, though, we get in many different categories, in all honesty, by adding this option in here, though. Now, other options I use. 1 to 4 pounds, I usually mark it as parcel select as the method that I'm shipping. Now, if priority is cheaper when it's time to ship out, I usually upgrade them to priority at that point. I do not give a refund if I do that. It's usually just $1 or so at that point as well. That helps to cover my costs. If they went to the post office, they could not get these same rates, so I am getting a bonus, a discount, because of me being a seller. They're not doing anything different, so I keep that discount. Again, it covers all my costs. It helps to cover the final value fee that eBay takes out of my shipping as well. So I don't see anything wrong with that. It's a discount given to us. You're allowed to give it to your customer, or you don't have to give it to your customer. That is an option you actually have. There's actually a box you can check to do that. Again, I don't give it to my customers. They get the same rate they would get if they went to the post office. Nothing wrong with doing that. If they want to validate and see what the price would be, they're going to be told the price that they pay because, again, we keep the discount. Now, if you look down here to, I've got global shipping. Now, this is for items up to 4 pounds. 1 pound to 4 pound. If it's a pound or under, it goes first class. If it's a pound or over up to 4 pounds, it goes parcel. Now, and same thing here. I've shipped first class international mail for these items here up to 4 pounds. Now, what you got to remember, too, is that first class international mail only goes up to 4 pounds. So if it's over 4 pounds, you cannot ship it first class international mail. Now, we do add a handling fee on some items here. You're welcome to do that. It helps to cover the international fee for payments. If a person's address is overseas, there is a processing fee for that. It's an international buyer payment fee of some sorts. I don't technically know the name of what eBay wants to call it. You can set it what you want. In fact, let's raise this. Most of mine are 50 cents, so let's just raise this up to 50 cents. You can put $1, you can put $2, whatever you feel comfortable doing. Now, here's another one of my options. Now, 4 pounds and up, as I said, cannot go first class international mail. U.S. is fine here, so I still have ground, parcel ground on here as the main option. No handling fee on any of my items shipping in the U.S. But when I come down here, I've changed anything shipping internationally to U.S. Priority Mail International. Again, there's a weight limit on that as well, so you have to be cautious on that. So anyway, that's this option here. Now, your return policy is key and important if you're going to do international shipping. Don't just look at what type of mail you're going to do. Go to your return policy, or if you're setting them up one by one, make sure that you set it up, though, that the buyer pays return shipping on international returns. That is your option. You are allowed to do that. It does not affect you. As you see here on my domestic, on all my U.S. shipping, I pay returns. They're free returns here in the U.S. Outside the U.S., they are not. You've got to set this sort of policy up if you're worried about that. Again, I don't get a lot of returns, but this may be part of the reason because I make the buyer pay it. Here in the U.S., I don't have a problem either. I'm fine with paying the returns. Obviously, if it's an overseas return, the bottom line you'll pay is at least $12 to $15 for any return. So there's an initial cost, a substantial amount of cost for a return possibly. So again, I don't pay for it. That's up to the buyer. I don't have returns, though. I don't have unhappy customers. We still have awesome feedback from all of our international buyers, so I don't worry about that aspect either. Now, in the listing wise, if you haven't seen it, this is just a listing template for one of my items here. You've got all of the shipping policy options here. Now, you can change them, you can edit them for just this one listing if you want to do something different. But I honestly would just recommend creating a new business policy and just going from there. So if you've got a default policy for any of these options, it automatically puts it in here. So every listing that I do automatically defaults to my standard payment policy. They're all the same. I only have one, so I don't have to adjust that. All my returns, again, stay to the same policy. They're all the same, so I only have one, so I don't have to worry about defaults. So if I have, say, a heavier weight item and I need to change it, it's just a matter of a click a button. I can click any one of the other options instantly and it's all set. That's all there is to doing this. Now you can also change all of your policies for specific items all at once. So you could literally go to your active listings. We're in the hub here. You can just pick down the categories you specifically want. You'd highlight them. You can check them all at once, a whole bunch of them. Or you could select them by, however many you want to edit. I can edit 2,000 listings at once these days. I'm just going to edit the selected just to show you the option. It'll take a few less moments to do it this way. So you've got the option to change all of your policies pretty much at the same time if you want, or in huge groups, just by going up here to your edit options. Now I can change the payment policy here. I can change the return shipping policy here, and I can change the shipping policy here as well. So I could come in here to all these listings and change whichever policy I want to a new one immediately, and it'll instantly take effect. So there is no worry at all if eBay changes something or the post offices change their fees. You may be using UPS and have some issue with them and never want to use them again. You can instantly change those all out if you have policies set up. But without policies, you got to go in one by one and set up individual listings as to how you've got the shipping options set up. That's not an easy option. This is far better. So at the end of the day, I don't really have any drawbacks from shipping overseas. It's the same exact principle as shipping US. eBay has enough guardrails, so to speak, to protect me personally. I don't know about everybody else, but for me, I'm okay with all the options and the protections that I have shipping overseas. eBay has done the right thing, or I've been able to get the vast majority of my money back from the few issues that I've ever had doing it. I honestly probably have more issues with U.S. buyers than I ever have with foreign overseas buyers. I far outweigh U.S. unpaid cases than I do with foreign cases. I almost never have one, but in general, it's usually U.S. cases that I get in general, if I ever get one in the first place. I think all of last year, I had maybe a handful, literally like 5, 6 cases that I had to cancel, and as well just a handful of returns total, like 2, 3, 4 for the entire year. So those things just don't happen regardless of it being overseas or US. I don't ship super expensive items. Some of them cost hundreds, some of them cost 1,000 or so, but overall, I just don't have the issues. I would, though, honestly recommend at the end of the day to do international shipping. Just understand how each option works. Use them to your benefit. Whichever ones offer you the coverage of the items that you're shipping, that's the one you want to use the most. You don't want to send risky things out. Again, with first class international mail straight through the post office, you're not covered the same way as you would be through eBay. So just take those thoughts, those considerations into mind and judge it for yourself. But these are the options that I've used for years. With the eBay International Standard option there, I started using it after they announced it, after it was there. I wanted to see how it works. As I said, I had a return or an issue where I had to file a case. With eBay International Standard Shipping as well, you have to fill out a form to request the actual refund. But they did take care of it, and it was fairly simple, and it didn't take very long to get my money back. Well, there we have it. Hopefully that gave you some ideas, some thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.
Specialty, the quicker picker-upper.